Okie doke. So I'm getting ready to make a new petrol pipe. I'm halfway through making it. I'm making a new petrol pipe because I didn't like the old one. I didn't like the old one mainly because it's got this filter in. And I hate the look of these filters. They're brilliant. They stop all the sediment from the tank and that, I'm sure. But they look, I just hate them. They look ugly and out of place to me, anachronistic. So not of the time. If you watch these videos before, then you'll know that I'm a sort of fan of form over function. And so, in other words, I prefer things to look good rather than work well. Which, and most people are like the opposite. But, I'm all for the looks of a bike, really. And I can't live with that big filter on. I'll regret it, of course, because, the carburetor will block up with all sediment, I'm sure, but there you go. Right, so I've crimped on a couple of connections already. So I'm just getting ready to do the next connection, which is the other side of this T-piece. So we've got this metal ferrule that goes on the end of the rubber. Then we force the rubber onto the connector, which in this case is the other half of the T-piece. Screw it, force it down so it's right. Make sure it's completely fully home. Nearly. There. And again, because I'm form over function, I'm going to make sure that the writing is at the bottom of the pipe so you can't see it when it's on the bike. Yeah, good. And then we've got this crimping tool, which is basically just a big bar. Going to put that on, and then we tighten down make sure that it's exactly in the right place over the ferrule. Back a little bit, there we go. And I'm trying to line up the crimp with the other crimp because this makes this little flange, and of course I like things to look nice and neat. Okay, I think everything's done, so then we just tighten down although it would help if we had the right spanner. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to crimp this down, make sure the crimps are in line with each other, yeah, just so it looks nice and neat and professional. And we simply tighten the clamp down until they touch, so it can't go any tighter. Try and make sure this is on camera to some extent. There we go. So that is now fully clamped down. So then unscrew it. Off it goes. And there we have another little clamp. Hope you can see this. So we've got those clamps and we've got this clamp. Okay, so then the next clamp will be this is the right hand petrol tap. That's going down to the carburetor, and this will be the left hand petrol tap. So I've just got to work out exactly where I'm going to cut that pipe, because it's going to be curved like that around the back of the engine to miss the back of the cylinder head, and then that will go down. So I just want to get that pipe cut in the right place, so we should have a nice little curve like that, and then that will go down the side. That's just about right, I think. And then that will just go down the side of the cylinder and to the carburetor. Okay, there we go. A new petrol pipe fitted, and I'm very pleased. All looks good. All nice, and above all, it doesn't leak. So there, I'm very pleased. Another little job done. The next thing I've got to do is actually now I've got to take the tank back off, well, off, because the taps are leaking. This one on this side leaks when you turn it on, and this one on this side leaks when you turn it off, and probably on as well. So I'm going to take the tank off now because this one now has started to leak, this tap. I've got new corks for the push-pull taps, so I'll put them on now. Anyway, but the pipe is good, so that's great. Just got to do the actual taps now. Okay, so I've taken the tank off, which is just undoing. There's 4 bolts, 2 at the back, 2 at the front. Unscrew take the instrument panel off with just 3 screws, and then there's a multi-pin connector. Well, in my case, it's multi-pin connector. Take that off, and then the tank just lifts off. So then I've put the tank at an angle because it's half full of petrol, just held up on wood, and then I've just loosened this tap off. So I'm now going to unscrew it and see what's inside. Ooh, it's not looking great. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Let's have a look. Yeah, see if that'll focus, and if it will. But that's what remains of the cork. Let's have a look. That's what it. I'll get one in shot. That's a new one, and that's the remains of the old one. And the other half of the old one is up inside that tap. Take it out of here. Dear. Wow, that's just sort of crumbly bits of cork. I'll give that a good clean out, and then I'll have a look. Dear, I'll clean the whole tap out. Always worth replacing both at the same time, because when you've got the tank off and you've got it all chopped up like this, you might as well, if one's gone, the chances are the other one's not far behind. So I'll give that a proper clean in a minute. I'll see if we can get this one off. Yeah, that's not much better at all than the other one. It's a bit more intact, but not much. They both definitely needed replacing, and both taps are beginning to weep, basically. So there we go. I've got one of these damn torches, by the way, which is LED. And it's completely useless. Why? Because it's such a narrow beam. Look at that. Unless what you're looking at is in that little patch of light, it's what's it called? Unidirectional. So it only points in one direction, and if what you're looking at isn't directly in the beam of light, it's useless. Okay, got a little brass wire brush. Need to run a pipe cleaner down this tap. Okay, I just got my oil way cleaning brush. There was definitely a bit of crud in this one as well. Obviously, when you got the taps apart, good time to make sure that they're completely crud free. Also, I'm going to give them a bit of oil because they're damn stiff. And there's no real need for them to be that stiff. You want a positive, on off, definitely, but don't have to be dead stiff. Right, new new cork, oh. Which of course just pushes in like not. Get in there. Yeah, I've just pushed it down enough so that I've got a few exposed threads so I can screw it back on again. Have I got enough thread there? Just to get it started? Yeah, just. Bit of a difference with that new. Bit of a difference. Yeah, so the actual tap slides underneath the cork, so if the cork is too tight, it's pushing down on the top of the tap. And of course it won't, you can't move it because it's jammed in with the cork. With a bit of a wipe before I put it on. I tend to use the right tap for main and left tap for reserve. Let's see if those taps are working. Because obviously they're not done up dead tight, because they can't be done up dead tight. Otherwise you can open the taps. Right, I don't know if you can see that, now where the camera is. Yeah, it's about right. So we're on the taps. So far so good. Nothing on the tissue. Right, that's good. Can't see any, apart from where I've licked it. Can't see any. That's the way to test it with a bit of tissue, because it immediately will turn, it will go that dark colour if it's leaking. So don't test it with your finger or whatever, just test it with a bit of tissue. Because I'm afraid in tissue will find a leak if there is one. Many, many disheartening times have I found a leak on a radiator or petrol tap or whatever. Anyway, that looks great. Yeah, so I think we're okay. That's great. Just got to put the petrol tank back on now. And we're good to go. Yeah, both these taps were fully tightened up. So obviously the cork, the cork was at the end of its life. Where they're only probably about half tight on both taps. Obviously, as they bed in, if they start leaking at all as they bed in, then just need to give another half turn and stop any leaks. So just keep an eye on that as they bed in. But great, good. So a little job, but if you've got a leaking tap, it's just a nightmare. So I'm really glad that we got them done. So, it's a little thing, but it is a nightmare. Just a leaking tap drives you bonkers. You can't leave the bike. So have to keep draining the petrol or something. So really pleased that's done.